Hey everybody, it is another session of the School of 5D. I'm not wearing any makeup because I'm free. It's all part of that. Today's learning session is titled Why does freedom matter? First of all, don't have very good lighting. Not that I ever have good lighting. So a lot of interesting things have happened to me recently, and I want to talk a tiny bit about that. And that is that for the second time, while I was right in the middle of organizing and making stuff happen that was positive, Facebook, even though I wasn't logging in from a different device or anything, just suddenly shut down my Facebook. And then when they did this a couple of years ago, they demanded my identification, and I had to scan my ID and send it to them before they would reopen my account. This time they want a mobile phone number. Well, I just let them have that account, even though I have close to 3,000 people on it and some groups that I've had running for a while, and the new Skoolof5d group. I've just made a new profile, a new FB profile under Singh, so I guess it's a new day. And the time right now, it's January 30th, 2018, and there's a lot of energy coming to the planet at this time. It is shaking up so much. I feel pretty good that I'm just able to let go of all of that, because right now we are in a period of sifting. We are in fact doing that splitting apart that a cell would do, like cell division. There's a lot of unseen and interdimensional changes that are happening, and I know a lot of you that are watching, meaning at least 10 of you of the 14 are aware of what that all entails. Now, we are going to come into a period of freedom. We are doing that right now. And I want to talk about this because we have to shed the shackles of the old paradigms, hierarchy, and the slave mentality. And we have to move into egalitarian systems of equality. We have to learn to choose and be leaders that understand that everyone stands equal but different in the circle. That if you've got a wheel and you take out any one piece, the wheel is not going to turn anymore, and that is how we have to, look at one another. Now, part of my own personal freedom, I think that's the best way for me to talk about this, because I think I'm probably quite a bit freer in certain senses than maybe all of the people watching. So let's say, just in a physical sense, I have allowed my identification to expire. I did take apart my cell phone, and it's 5 kilometers up the mountain. I failed to do my taxes last year, and I am working at an under-the-table job. I am planning to start an underground business selling organic, unrefined, unprocessed, super nutritious sunflower oil. I'm normally living in the forest and not participating in all of the different systems that oppress us on varying levels when we when we rent or we have a mortgage or we live in a house. And now, a lot of the times, these ways, I don't have medical insurance either, and I'm hoping to get out of citizenship as well. Now, all of these things sound on the surface like I'm giving up a lot of privileges, but I think that in order to understand how this freedom thing works, we're going to have to understand that what we see right now as privileges are not. It's not actually a privilege to drive around in a moving bomb, i.e. a car. And if you think cars are cool and you like your car and you want a better one, I think you should look up how many people, children and babies and stuff and families that cars kill every year. I think that if your idea of freedom is a house, then you really need to look at how much the house you live in right now is harming the earth. And I think we really are going to have to want radical change for ourselves as much as we want radical change for the rest of the world. And I think that we are going to have to come into a very strong aspect of ourselves physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually in order to be able to engage this new paradigm and this new earth that is going to come into being very soon after this period that we're in right now of a lot of turmoil and upheaval and sifting of maybe what is happening in your life is you know what? Let's find out what's happening in our lives. This is this. And it says Voyager Tarot Guidebook for the Journey by James Wanless, PhD. And yes, these cards are based on the original tarot deck, and I'm not going to talk a lot about it because I'm not really the tarot card expert, but I am someone who knows that in order for me to get answers that don't come from my rational mind and don't come from a place that is very much a product of this old paradigm which likes everything so controlled and so predictable that it keeps us in a controlled and a predictable cage. So the question is for the universe to send us some kind of message from somewhere is how do we get free, and how do we release ourselves from the old paradigm, power over, dog eat dog, making friends just as long as they're connections that benefit your personal agenda, all of these different things, and of course the money spell, which yes, we have to engage money, but there will be an alternative due to the fact that it inspires us to behave in not very good ways, because we have actually equated money with freedom, and that is something we need to not do. So let's just get some guidance from our higher selves here. And so what this says here is, it says man of crystals, inventor. And so I'm going to say that man of crystals, I'm going to say that the crystal knowledge is cosmic knowledge. And I'm going to go back to something that I told you in another video, that all the crystals here were seeded from other planetary realities or dimensions, and that they hold knowledge. And this is something that was channeled in the Sasquatch Message to Humanity, that piece of information that I just gave you. There's a lot of information about crystals out there, of course. And it says inventor. So this is the thing, isn't it? It's not really for us to try to acquire any more what we thought were the rewards in the old paradigm, which were really shackles. But it is for us to invent new systems and new organizational systems that can reflect love, peace, egalitarianism, truth, light, transparency, authenticity, and all of these other things that belong to the new paradigm. Unity, they also belong to the fifth dimension, don't they? Okay, now let's see what the doctor has to say about this. Now the crystals in this particular deck represent the mind. So we have the the Man of Crystals, and it says, like the crystal that generates new perceptions, your mind invents new ideas and knowledge. Be like a scientist experiencing a creative explosion of the mind. The man symbolizes, like the extraordinary variety of uses of the crystal, the technological application of your ideas. Both as technician and scientist, revolutionize your world, as the crystal has done, through practical invention and innovation. Brainstorm. Play with ideas, spin them around in the sky lab of your mind. Right, so I think that is that. And the second bit of guidance that we have as far as how we're going to navigate freedom and the new paradigm, because I do believe that the Pleiadians have taken over the rehabilitation of Earth, don't I? And this says, trust. Now, trust is probably, of course, the biggest thing that is missing from our daily lives and how we do things. We don't trust whether or not we got the proper change, and we count that. We don't trust that we're being billed we just don't. And why? Because, of course, we have learned that our media, our government, and so many, our health systems, as I've said before, so many things that we're supposed to trust, we can't. And this also comes into our family lives, and we have parents or children even that we can't trust, and it becomes very debilitating and for us in terms of being able to carry through with a strong spirit and a strong soul that can create. Because remember, something else I said is, I said unity creates, and when we can't come together in trust, then we can't have unity, and then we can't create. This card is the Six of Wands, and the wands represent spirit. So let's see what Dr. James Wanless has to say about this. So the Six of Wands, it says, light is symbolic of trust. In light, we trust. We follow the light. The red candle lights are wands that symbolize eternal blood loyalty, your trust in family. The circle of hands symbolizes the human community and the greater community of all life. Recognizing that we are all family, trust others and be loyal. Like the child, see the goodness in others and be trusting. Like the adult holding the child, be responsible and trustworthy, Enter into friendships, partnerships, marriages, alliances, agreements, and contracts that you honor. And of course, that's beautiful. And it also reminds me that it is time to take our authority, to make good use of our free will, and to break contracts that we have made in the old paradigm on all levels. And the final card is Woman of Cups, Rejoicer, and this must be the card that represents me right now and how I feel about all of the amazing things that are going on our planet on all the different levels right now. Let's read what the doctor has to say. And cups represent emotions, so it must relate to me, because I am, as I like to call myself, an emo-tard. Okay. Woman of Cups. Woman of Cups. Woman of Cups. So it says, like the seashell, lotus, and cup, you are receptive to life. Let the beauty of life fill your heart. Hear, conch shell to ear. Taste, moon in the drinking glass. Touch, water on the skin, and smell life's sweet essence. You are deeply moved by life's surges and tides, oceanic in the depth of your feelings, and spontaneous yet judicious in their expression. Show your gratitude to life through the celebration of love, reverence, and bliss. So those are our directions, right? We talked about how to navigate the dimensions and things like that in the last video, and of course we do that by connecting to love and by connecting to nature, and we're going to do that. So that's about all for today. Not a whole lot of heavy duty information, because I think this is really just a time to notice the energies that are happening. It is that big super blood blue moon tomorrow night, and I guess we're feeling the effects of the full moon right now. I want to say that your heart knows better than your mind. Namaste.